couple days in this week, Coach. How's practice been so far this week?
Better today than yesterday. It's good.
Yeah, Coach, I've heard you in years past talk about rushing with proper lane integrity. Also heard you talk about schematically forcing quarterbacks almost into a scramble. I guess what goes into the decision to do either, and where would you put Spencer Rattler in the we want to keep him in the pocket versus we want him scrambling discussion?
You'll carry a game plan to do both pretty much against every quarterback. Maybe just a traditional pocket guy that nobody moves, which doesn't exist anymore really. We call them statues. They just don't play with those guys anymore. But you wouldn't have a lot of alternative rushes for them. But the guys who play nowadays, you have to have a rush plan to do multiple things, and you base that on situation, score, down distance, coverage. A lot of things go into how you rush the quarterback.
Kind of see a decent bit of Roderick Robinson through 2 games. How have you seen him progress as he's going through his freshman year?
Yeah, he got the spring ball to learn, figure some things out, get caught up to speed, and he's had an opportunity. You know, we've had some injured backs. He's been healthy. I've seen him mature. He's very bright. I think he has good vision. He continues to improve and picking up his pass pro. He should be a weapon at doing that because he's big and physical. So he should be able to do that. It's something that all freshmen go through in which they have to learn that. They have to get comfortable. Picking up blitzing backwards at our level is not something they do at their level. So he continues to improve, and proud of the work he's done.
Yeah, with Vlade, is it more the same with his injury in terms of his practice availability? And then what kind of impact does not having him out there have on this offense?
Well, we have guys that have similar skill sets. They don't have the experience. I mean, we've got guys capable of filling the void left by Lab, but we don't have guys with the experience in this offense. I mean, 2 years, 15 games a year, 30 games experience is just immense. So that's the part we missed. But you know, I don't. As far as his availability, he hasn't been available. I mean, he's been injured, you know, and he's trying to come back, and we're trying to figure out what all we can do to speed that process up.
I guess this is a couple years that David Daniels has been a contributor on this team. What does he bring to the table when you guys put him out there? What do you like about him?
Very instinctive. He's got good speed. I mean, I guess for 2 years now, he's come in situational football. I mean, dime he's played, third down he's played. Late in games he's played well. He's had some really big hits. He had a hit against Oregon last year. It was a good hit. He had a hit against South Carolina late in the game. I mean, he's shown up and played when asked to, and he's played on special teams. So he's a product of the development, the growth, intelligence, and persistence.
We've obviously talked a lot about the loss of Darnell Washington on this offense. I guess speak a little bit to the impact Broderick Jones had on your run game. Specifically, y'all became a pretty counter-heavy football team last year. Was that a byproduct of his skill set and what you guys have become now without him?
I don't know that the Broderick effect is anything relative to the Darnell effect. I think obviously they're 2 different players. We have 2 different guys, or really multiple guys, filling the shoes of those guys. But Darnell's just different. He's a generational player. You may not coach a long time and have somebody that size and that physical at that position. But Broderick was. He was more of a pass pro. He was elite at pass pro, really good athlete. He could pull and run, get in space, do a lot of things. But I feel like our tackles now can do those same things. So it's not a big a difference between, maybe not, I'm not talking about ability, but I'm talking about in the run game, not as big a difference in the tackle and the tight ends.
Kirby, is there a competition still for place kicking? I mean, or once you settle, is it just settled, or how does that?
There's a competition for everything. It's hard. Within a week, we get, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 kicks a week. I mean, I'm talking about with 11 on 11, not off on their own. So we chart it, we keep up with it, we monitor it, but we put weight on the preseason camp. And I got a lot of confidence in our kicker. I got a lot of confidence in both our kickers. Both our kickers are a weapon.
Any update on Javon and also Austin Blass?
Blasky's working his way back, might be available. He's one of the toughest guys I've been around, so he's trying to speed up that recovery and make himself available for this game. Javon's still unknown right now. He's out there at practice, but he wasn't able to do a lot.
If I wanted to become a smarter football observer, where would you direct me, whether it be visual text or anything?
I joined a staff of an SEC program. I don't understand what you're asking. If you want to be a better football coach, then go be around football coaches, right? I mean, or if you want to understand football better, then get in the tunnels and the dark spots and the organizations and watch it and learn it, I guess. Is that what you're asking?
Or just football in general?
Yeah, football in general. I mean, I don't think you can learn it on Twitter, and I don't think you can learn it on TV, because it's scary what people think they know.
It's kind of in that same vein. I was talking with Ben Watson and asking him to contrast maybe you and Belichick, with the Saban tree. Do you study coaches? Did you study Belichick at any point, or are there certain coaches you watch?
No, I just worked. I mean, I respect coaches, and I love to learn from them, but I don't study them. I mean, I don't go out and say what's his win-loss record. You learn from the people you work for. So I spent a long time working for some really good coaches, and Bobby Bowden, Mark Rick, my dad, Coach Saban. I mean, so you emulate those that you work for and you admire most.
I saw somewhere that y'all taking the ball on Saturday after winning the toss for the first time since 2019. What goes into that decision each week, and what went into it this past week?
The biggest thing's weather. There's concern of rain, so you want your possessions to be in non-inclement weather. And if there's any percentage of chance, you have to make a decision based on that. Wind, sun. Those are the biggest factors, which, you can say they're not a factor because we're both going to have to play both directions, right? But it's just a matter of which one you want to start out with. And I think trying to get momentum and field position in a game sometimes impacts the game.
Kirby, Shane Dearman was talking today about his time here with you, that you guys kind of comboed on special teams, or you helped him with that. He mentioned the play in the championship game on the punt block with Tyler Simmons. He was joking about how he was not really able to get past it, the call. I'm wondering how long it might have taken you after that game to get over that.
I mean, I was over after it happened because I just assumed that they made the call that they saw and they felt confident about. But in all reality, it should have come back anyway because they had people moving before the snap. So it wasn't about whether he was onside or not. It was the movement pre-snap should have negated the play, but something we worked hard on.
Kirby, did you get what you wanted out of the first two games in terms of some of the personnel that were able to get extended? I know you don't go into the games looking for it, but in hindsight, when you see the snap count, were you pleased with the looks a lot of guys got?
We were saying pleased with the performance or pleased with the number of snaps?
Make that an open question.
I didn't have a preset notion of what it should be or shouldn't be. I certainly would like to get more players playing time. Therefore, when they do play, they can lean on the experience of their game time. It concerns me that we haven't played as many snaps with our starters. That's a concerning thing because you're going to catch a hot game where you're playing 80 to 90 snaps, and that's what we condition all summer for. That's what we condition in practice for. That's what we work really hard for. So the concern is on the ability to play as many snaps as it takes. Am I happy that some of those guys got to play and some of those got experience? Absolutely. They've worked their tail off, and they need it, and they need a lot more.
Kirby, what are the biggest challenges for a secondary going into a game like this where Spencer Rattler can move it and not necessarily scramble, but keep plays alive in the pocket, and just things that a secondary has to keep in mind when you go up against a quarterback like this?
Yeah, poise and performance. He's going to hit some plays. He's going to hit some shots. That's what he does. He does it well. Playing the ball in the deep part of the field is one of the number one characteristics of a defensive back. And if you have that flaw, it can be fatal. And it tends to show up in games like this because he's going to get opportunities. He's going to throw the ball down the field. They have big, physical, fast wideouts. I mean, there's a reason why they're third or fourth in the country in passing yards, because he throws the ball extremely well. He sees the field extremely well. He can throw the ball to all parts of the field, and he's throwing it to people that can do something with it after they catch it. So it's going to be a big-time test for our secondary to play the ball in the air or tackle the man with the ball after it's caught.
Speaking of your secondary coach, are you at the point going into SEC slate where you're ready to kind of narrow down the rotations at corner?
It'll be based on practice week, like right now. Like we're out there practicing right now. We're shooting balls out of jugs, deep balls. We're throwing the ball all over the yard. We're getting extra throws. We're getting extra scrambles, and we're judging how guys play. So we're trying to simulate what may happen in the game. And we're going to play the guys that do the best job in practice, whether that's 5 guys or 2 guys.
Kirby, on Andrew Paul, how would you assess his play through 2 games as he continues to make his way back from that ACL injury?
Just that, just continuing to make his way back. He's feeling his way through it. He has not probably really cut loose. I think he would tell you he's feeling his way through contact, trying to get used to it. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities. You know, he's had a few, but with Kendall coming back, and it's been a little more limited. I think he's a young back that's still getting his confidence back. He's flashed and had some really good runs in camp, and I'm hoping that we get to see more of him so he gets to do that.
Yeah, and your guys' sort of third and long pressure package week 1, I noticed Jordan Hall was there, and then last week Warren Brinson was in on that. Any reason for the change, just trying to build depth there, and what have you sort of seen?
Who was the first week you said?
Jordan Hall.
I think it's really by series. So relative to who's playing, you may have seen one first and then the other, but if Warren plays a lot of snaps, then it's Jordan to be fresh. And if Jordan plays a lot of snaps, then it's Warren. It's interchangeable. I mean, as far as no rhyme or reason, they both are very capable, both very athletic. It's just trying to keep fresh guys in there.
Just following up on what you said about Dylan Bell yesterday being selfless and can do a lot of things, is that something that you see moving forward with him regardless of the depth, the fact that he can catch the ball in the backfield and show that element?
We'll always have that element, whether it's he or Muse or the other guys that can line up in the backfield and do it. So that's always going to be there. We have backs capable of doing that too when we're 100% healthy. So I don't know if I can answer that. And will we keep it there? It probably depends on how many wideouts are healthy, what we have week to week, what the game plan is. But certainly like to.
Kamara was kind of playing catch-up after being hurt during fall camp. How do you feel like he's performed in these first few games?
Really good leader, solid, tough, physical tackler. He's confident, playing really well right now, playing hard. I just like the way he goes about his business. He practices like a pro. He walks through like a pro. He just takes notes like a pro. He's very driven and focused.
Kirby, with Alabama's loss Saturday night, Georgia now has the longest home win streak in the nation, and I guess the last one was South Carolina. Did you use that as a reference point at all for your team about that was a team that kind of snuck up, I guess. They weren't real good that year. Did you bring that up, or did you talk about the home win streak at all?
No, I wouldn't want to give B-Mac and Will pleasure.
Sorry. Totally blanked on my questions.
Time for 2 more questions, anybody?
You have enough coaches that are probably familiar with South Carolina's personnel, but I wonder if Brandon Streeter, what he offers in a week like this?
I can't answer that good. I know he helped with the offensive staff in terms of coaching the coaches and giving input about the kids he knew about, maybe recruited them. I was actually not in on that meeting. I was over with the defense when he gave the kind of personnel report, but I know he did do that. I don't know what kind of insight he had.
I saw the Regions commercial last weekend. How many takes did it take for you to get that one?
I don't remember. It was shorter than I thought it would be, but it was more difficult than I thought it would be in terms of trying to keep my composure and not laugh. Thanks.